I want to move more into I want to move more into blogs as well. Like just like where I just go out and like record stuff like that. I kind of like the look of that. And it seems to be like it is really popular content now. People just love it. Like people going out there. That
The fi-
Charlie Vic. Sorry.
done it as the final boss yesterday and just gone out on the streets.
Oh, I'll be the final boss. Don't worry, I'll be the final boss in Tenerife when I go up there. When I go up there, Tenerife, I'll be the final boss out there. All right, good afternoon, good people. I hope everyone is well. I am joined with the lovely Kitty. Kitty, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Happy Wednesday. It is
Ha-
Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday indeed. Happy Wednesday indeed. Is it Wednesday? Yes, it is Wednesday.
It is
Um,
I'm losing the will to live because the children are still off. And
mm,
it's,
mm.
please somebody tell me what day it is. I have no idea anymore.
Mm. So Katie, I'm just gonna go back on a little the videos that we done yesterday on Katie Price and Peter Andre, and the response I've had from it is that Katie Price is the bad one. Katie Price is the bad one. She's the demon, and Peter's the good guy, and he just got caught up with it. That's the response that I've got so
Yeah,
far.
you're going to get that. You're always going to get that because if you have never ever dealt with a narcissist, you can't see it.
Oh, behave with this narcissist. You just love throwing that word out there. Everyone's a narcissist. You women have literally we need to charge you every time you use that word.
Yeah, get me an art jar. Get me an art.
Literally.
But
Narcissist.
I think this genuinely. I think that Peter is the secret narc, and I think she is as well. And I don't. I think she's a demon as well. So I will agree with guys on that. But I think you had two together, and it created this toxic, horrible situation. I don't believe that either were innocent in this. But I do believe, and I have heard on the grapevine, as you do,
Yep.
that Peter's manager and him are
Yep.
doing what they always do, which is making Peter out to be the complete and utter family man and the great, wonderful guy that he is. And this is their offensive at the moment. This is what they're pushing. And she's the demon. Now, I am quite happy to demonize Katie because Katie can be bad, but I do believe he's a narc as well. And I've seen videos where he's pulling her hair and things like that, and then she gets angry, and that's the bit you're seeing on film where she's like, oh, you know, and it's that performative narcissist, that one that will cause the rage and then film you raging. And if you've ever been a victim of that sort of narcissistic abuse, you can spot it in seconds. And I have. And due to my mental health,
Yes.
people will always throw that I'm the bad person in a relationship. I am the evil one. I am the one that loses her temper. What people don't see is what I have to put up, what I had to put up with at home, which was the constant, well, you do look a bit fat, or do the constant digs. And when you actually lose your temper, that's the moment that people will say, see, she is the bad one.
No, I was just checking that TikTok was getting your audio. I was just checking that
Mhm.
TikTok was getting your audio. Sorry. Yep.
But
Yep.
but that's what I see. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We're allowed to disagree on this situation, but that's how I see Peter. I see him as a secret, silent narcissist that is literally making himself out to be the perfect parent. And he probably is in the quiet of his own home, but he is that fame hungry, narcissistic person that will
I don't
literally.
think you can get away with calling him a fame-hungry, narcissistic person when you've
I
got Katie over
call her.
there.
No, listen, I can call her as well.
Hmm.
I can, look at the film he made. Tell me that film wasn't clickbait.
I
Tell
don't. I don't know what film. I don't know. I don't know. I may have watched the film. I'm not sure.
Now, we haven't watched the film. Neither of us, I don't think, watched the film in the end. The
Hmm.
Jaffa thing, where he was having to pretend to be a Jamaican,
Oh
and
yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. 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 Yes.
tell me that wasn't clickbait.
It probably was, but But they asked for him. They wanted him, didn't they? So and it.
He knew it was going to happen. He knew he was going to be back on those sofas talking about the fact that he was just doing what he
Yeah.
was to do. And what I'm saying is, it's almost borderline sociopath. I'm not going to say he's a sociopath. I'm just saying it's sociopathic mind, where you are the greatest person. When you hear these stories of sociopaths, you hear stories from their family members or friends, and they're like, they're really lovely. I don't understand where it came from.
Mm,
Oh, they've always been absolutely lovely. And they have this persona to the outside world that they are the best thing since sliced bread. And then behind closed doors, they are absolute nightmares.
mm,
Night, but it's little digs. Like you say, pulling her hair and then filming when when she goes mad about him pulling her hair, or in telling her that she's an absolute disgrace. I've seen that one where he's saying, you know, you're a disgrace, just before she goes out and does an interview, so that she's in a bad mood and so she says something outrageous. It's
mm,
that reactive narcissism that I don't like. I apologize, Peter, if you are not, but that is how you are coming across to me. And on the people that I have spoken to on my posts,
mhm.
a high percentage that see it as well,
I'm
albeit
not.
with,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'll leave. We'll leave it at that anyway. I'm not sure.
yeah,
But I would say, just looking at it, I see Peter as like the innocent guy that just fell for the wrong one. To be honest with you, like she was always too hot. There's no way you look at that scenario, that relationship dynamic, and you look at it and you think Peter's the one in control in that relationship. There's no way. She is in control. She is manipulative. She is doing everything. It's all Katie from my perspective.
so they both couldn't be like that. Is that
I don't know. No way. There's always a power. Someone's always wearing the trousers.
well? Why do we think it's either of those and it's not Claire?
Possibly. That's a new dynamic. But that's a
That's
new
like,
dynamic.
there's somebody behind it both, but
Yeah,
that relationship was toxic.
yeah. I
There.
think I think I think the line obviously is that what we have to remember as well. Their life is social media. That's how they get paid. So we don't know how much of a performative sort of how staged it is. Like you can't always believe what you see on social media, but let's move on anyway. Let's move on to something more brighter, something more uplifting. Let's
Yes,
move on to this lovely school teacher that's been going viral all over social media. Do we have a name for her yet? No, do you know?
Gerda Waterbower.
Gerda Waterboer. Shout out to
Yeah.
Gerda Waterboer. And she made some sort of song, which we'll have a little look at, which was designed to teach children to be more aware of their bodies and to tell people no, no, no. Let's watch it.
These are my private parts, private parts, private parts. These are my private parts. No one should touch them. No one should squeeze them. And if you touch my private parts, private parts, private parts. And if you touch my private parts, I will tell my mother. I will tell my father. I will tell my teacher. These are my private parts, private parts, private.
Wow. And who would have thought a song like that could get for there are people out there that spend years writing songs. These artists out there spend years writing songs, trying to
Uh-huh.
trend, trying to go viral, and yet you have a woman that's performing in front of her class, and she's made a song up. These are my private parts. You must not touch them. I will tell my mum. I will tell my teacher. I will tell my dad. An amazing message. Some people is getting backlash.
Yes.
What sort of backlash are you hearing anyway?
Because of how passionate and how aggressive she sings the song, people are saying, one, they don't want young children to hear it about private parts. They don't want their children to hear it. And two, it's so aggressive the way she's singing it. She shouldn't be singing it so aggressive. Yes, she should.
Hmm.
These are your private parts. We don't want anybody touching our children. We don't want it. And for years, we've spent years going, don't talk about
Shout out to
things.
Paolo following the host. Sorry.
You know, for years we've said, please don't talk about things like that. Please, we don't talk about our private parts, especially here in England. We don't
Hmm.
talk about them. But all of a sudden, you've got this amazing African queen standing there telling us, no, 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 boo boo, you don't touch these. You don't touch that. You don't squeeze them. You don't even play. And there were even some dirty, horrible people that went, and she covered her mouth. What was that all about? A kiss.
Hmm.
It's a kiss. Why does your dirty mind have to go anything other than a kiss? And this is the backlash this poor woman's getting. I will say this: I don't think she wrote the song. I think it's, and from what I can gather, it's a song that has been around the schools in Africa for years, right? And they've been singing it for years because it is so, so prolific over there.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently two have gone missing in months where, in the school that she's working at.
Yeah.
So this is a message that we've got to get out to our kids. These are your things. You don't let anybody else touch them. And if you do, we're gonna tell people, because I would rather my child be have their eyes open to this sort of message right now than in a couple of years they tell me that they are broken because somebody has touched them inappropriately or done
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah, these days, like, just by some of the interviews that I've done, just following trending news and stuff, we can't get away from it. Like, we wish we never had to speak about things like this. But in this day and age, children need to know at a very early age. Although some people will say children know what's right from wrong, you don't need to tell them that. Some children are manipulated, and let's just put it straight: most children are manipulated. To be fair, like, most children are manipulated, like, and they do say, what is it, 70% of people know their attacker. So these attacks are happening from family members and all sorts of other things. So there needs to be more information. If you say, like, look, you know no one is meant to touch, like, that message should be very clear, like,
Yes.
and it should be very clear, no one is meant to do this, no one's meant to do that. And to teach, like, these kids need to learn early, otherwise, someone else might,
I don't. Yeah, like you say, I don't think there's an age limit on it either. I think
no.
this should be a message from birth, basically. Even if you're just humming it in the background for now, and you're not putting words to it, you make sure that that tunes in their head. I mean, I am still singing it in my head from 2 days ago when I first heard it. It's one of those tunes that is catchy, but it's something, with my daughter, obviously 18, she's very vulnerable with the way she is. It's something that I am going to teach her
Mm,
because she's vulnerable as well. We need to get this over, and this is the best way to do it. Yes, it's a little bit naughty in places, squeezing and whatever, but this is what they do. And don't forget, we've had people on here where we've talked to them and they've said, they told me it was okay because they were my dad, or
yep.
they told me it was okay because they were my dad's friend and my dad said that they could do it. We want them to know that this situation is not normal. It's not okay.
Yep.
These are your parts. Nobody is allowed to touch them.
Yep.
And just save one with this song. It's worked.
Yeah.
Worked.
I think it's just it's really sad that we've got to a place where we have to try and prepare young children to sort of, like, to try and stay away from this sort of craziness that's out here in the world, like, but unfortunately there are horrible people out here that prey on children,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and we need to arm them. And I would say we need to go further. Even young girls, like, you see these young girls, they're falling in love, they're being manipulated, they're not knowing the difference between love and lust. Like, when like, when they get attention from guys, they see guys saying, oh, look at you, you look amazing, and all this sort of stuff. Like, it's lust. They couldn't give it, they just want a piece of what they're seeing, sort of, and having that sort of respect value for themselves. Like, there's a loads of things that need to be done for women, because, honest to God,
Women
there are some
and men.
harm there, women and men for sure. But when I see these domestic violence attacks and I see what's going on in this day and age, men being arrested for doing all sorts of craziness to women, like, just not being able to let women go as well. That's a big thing. Like, they prefer to, rather than let them go.
We we can go back to our argument, well, not argument, our discussions that we have all the time, and this needs to be addressed in schools, which it is doing here
Yeah.
from a very early age. I think it's like first grade, which is what, 5, 6.
Hmm.
So this is the first lesson. Then we take it to the next one. We take it to cyber. And then we take it there, and you've got to keep the message coming. We've also got to say to young men as well, it's not okay to be that angry. It's not okay to want to hit a partner because they're not doing what you want, or it's not okay. The manipulation is not love.
Mm.
Manipulation is not caring for somebody. Control is not caring for somebody. Control is you wanting it your way. These are the lessons that we have to teach, not only boys but girls as well, because there are girls that do it as well.
Yeah.
We also have to teach women that it's not okay to cry rape the moment that something doesn't go your way.
Remember, we're on TikTok as well here, so you have to say grape.
Okay,
You have to say
great
you have to you have to say grapes. Yep.
grapes. Okay, sorry. Um, not to cry grape when something goes wrong.
Yeah. That's
Do not do that, because
that
that
that that is that is the biggest, that's going to be the biggest takedown of anyone of any sort of note, any celebrity, anyone that's got a little bit of fame, even TikTok creators, like, people are getting destroyed by this, like, because ultimately they think they can treat girls how they want. Like, that's how it used to be. You could treat girls how you, if you were with someone or you had money, like, you could flash your money, say, oh yeah, come see me, and you could get
hmm
what you want from that woman, then send them home. Now those women are going home and thinking, wait a minute, I don't feel great about this. Maybe I was coerced into this. And
yeah,
it's your
I was,
word versus theirs. And the moment you open your gob, that person's reputation is destroyed.
it is, and this is it's life destroying. But also, girls, remember karma. Karma comes round. I will say that karma comes round, but meanwhile, you've ruined some young man's life for the rest of his life. It doesn't matter what. That man is always going to be known as a predator. You
Mm,
know, it's not right. it's
no.
it's not right, it's not good, it's not clever. It's So these are the lessons we have to put in place. The government need to look at that curriculum. They need to teach them that if you go into something and you consent to it and blah blah blah, that's consent. Okay, if it gets a bit fruity and you want to pull back, that's when you say no,
Hmm.
and that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
But
And I think girls, the lesson for mainly women as well, I would say, is um, don't go into a situation where you're willing to compromise your values for money, because that will become the norm. And what you compromised on, what you think you compromised on, you think, okay, I'm doing this for him, that's going to make him happy. It won't ever be enough. It'll get worse. And then, you end up in a Cassie situation where you stayed in a situation for so long. This has
mhm,
been the norm, all these free offs. You might even get a lot of pleasure from all these things that you're doing. But, later on in life, you're going to look back and think, wait a minute. A judge will look back in life, actually, not just you. A
yeah,
judge will be looking back and saying,
will look at it. 12 people will look at it and say, actually, no, you were quite okay with it.
mm,
When the reality is, she probably got really, really off with it.
mm,
Halfway through, and went, "Oh, I just don't want to do this anymore. This is not me. It's not fun anymore. It's not
no,
fun." But continuously expecting more. He's just a typical billionaire that just was chasing the next high. And when I say high, well, we do know that he was doing things like that, but the next sure high. That
mm,
was his thing. That was his gratification. It was the power of doing one more extra thing that nobody else could do because he had the money and the power. Um, I will say this: he was paying people to do it, so really, in a way, he wasn't
yeah,
guilty. The only thing I will say is the beating. As far as I'm concerned, that was on video. We've seen what he did.
yeah. And there's that, and there's loads of stories about how he was, like, he throws hands. That's what he does. Like, he's a power crazed guy. He can throw hands.
Allegedly, he Molitov's Kid Cudi's car,
Yeah,
broke into his house, kidnapped this. These, whether these are true or not, these are the stories that are now out there, and this is what's always going to be known. When you talk about P Diddy, you're either going to joke or dark humor and go, "Oh well, he's such and such," and that's going to be associated with his name constantly now. What's Shannon Sharp? Another one
yeah, yeah,
you're always going to associate.
yeah.
Even Kevin Hart, for going to those parties and videoing at those parties of P
Yeah,
Diddy.
I mean, it just goes to show you how dark and how deep this goes, and it's like these guys are protected by political power, because just like the Epstein files and the Epstein videos, there's all these videos. No one's gone to jail. No one's been exposed. And the reason why no one's been exposed is because they're on the right side of whoever's protecting them, like, and no, like, it's just not, it's probably a lot deeper and a lot sicker than we actually even know, to be honest with you.
It probably is. Yeah, she did. Sorry, my mum. She says Ghislaine Maxwell went to prison.
Mm,
And that's another thing, isn't it? All these rich men that are alleged to have done something, and it's a woman that's gone to prison.
mm.
Do you get what I mean? It's a woman that's
Yeah.
gone to prison.
And she's trying to make she's trying to make some sort of deal at the minute. Well, she did. She got lighter. She got a lighter. She got a softer
Quite
prison.
right. No, I mean, she's not the only guilty party, and whether he took his own life or not, we don't know. But
Yeah.
he's got out of it as usual.
Yeah.
As he's not been found guilty of
It's
anything.
it's it's almost been like a circus in a way, isn't it? It's like it kind of makes you wonder, is it just a distraction, all these stupid things like, that we hear in the news and stuff? Is it
Yeah,
are they just distracting us for something bigger that they're doing?
yeah, sleight of hand, isn't it? It's sleight of hand politics. See, why are you looking at this one? This one's doing something
Yep,
completely different.
yep,
And as you said, so I always remember there was once it was in the UK, and I can't remember what was going off. There was something big going off in the press,
mm,
and in the corner of the Sun at the time I was reading, and I remember, and it said Tony Blair was trying to get rid of not universal credits at the time, it was child tax credits, and it was going through the Lords, and the Lords had stopped it. But that was that big in the Sun. And
mm,
then there was pages of probably something about Katie Price or something, like, like something that everybody was talking about.
yep,
But nobody was talking about the fact that Labour government wanted to get, or whichever government it was, wanted to get rid of these child tax
yep,
credits.
yep.
And that was the moment it sort of switched on for me.
Yeah.
Because what
People need to wake up. People need to wake up, because all it takes is them something serious going on in the world, like they're robbing us, they're raising taxes here and there. What do they do to distract us? They put a load of people in hotels. They put a load of flags up. They go, but I wouldn't be surprised they put them flags up themselves just to
like
distract
we
people.
Yesterday we was talking about them taking the flags down. They didn't just take the flags down. They sent African guys to, or sort of Romanian guys to take them down. So the right were like, and have you seen who's taking them down? So they didn't just sort of poke. They carried on poking an open wound, didn't they? So they knew that it was gonna infuriate the right by taking these flags down. They knew it
Mm,
was they knew it was gonna poke them.
yeah, yeah.
September the 13th coming up, where there's going to be big screens in the middle of London, and everybody's going to do a peaceful protest. Can you see that being peaceful?
Well, I'm gonna be. Is that that Tommy's rally thing, isn't
Yeah,
it? The 13th. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be there for that one. I'm definitely
yeah,
gonna be there. So if you want to get down, get down. I'll be there. Do a day show down there. I definitely will be doing that one. I'm definitely
yeah.
gonna try and get out to a few more.
And we're going to interview some of these guys. We're not going to be rude or anything, because we don't want to cause any trouble. But I want to ask why they think
Yeah.
that they're entitled to feel the way they do, which sometimes I can feel that way,
Mm.
and I would imagine you feel it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like
And like I said, you have to, in this day and age, you just have to be willing to listen to both parts and think, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. And, be reasonable rather than just being like one track, like, and especially to the people that are having their minds incepted by their media that they're watching. Like, the media that they're watching, the person that they choose to follow, he posts a whole load of stuff and they believe everything he says. Like, that is just stupid. Like, you have to think about what you're doing. You have to look at a balanced side of views because, there's right and wrong on both sides.
what people don't understand is radicalization isn't just about Muslim faith. It's about the right, the left. You can be radicalized with anything. So when we say radicalization, don't think we're talking about, any faith. We're talking about your beliefs, and it can become radicalized.
Yeah,
And if
for
you
sure.
believe, that all these people are coming over here to take our jobs while you're sitting there on
Why
benefits.
you're not working anyway, and
Yeah,
never intend to work.
no,
No,
I,
I heard this best. I think a comedian said it best. Some of these people sit about go around moaning about things never getting done and what they don't have, and the only motivation that they have is to piss a shit stain off the toilet.
yeah, it's ridiculous. They sit there saying that the streets are dirty. What are we paying our taxes for? You're on benefits. You're not
Mm.
paying any taxes. So if you think that the streets are dirty, get off your ass and go and clean them.
No, too good for that. Too good for that. We got a
But
class. We got a class of that, unfortunately.
listen, if I become prime minister, this is what's happening.
Yeah, I think, just some very basic stuff, but yeah, yeah. What can we say? Just people, just use your brain. Try and because there's a lot of angry young men. There's a lot of angry young men in the world today, and we just need to be careful with that. Like people radicalizing people. People just like, I'm seeing some of these people. It's like a veins busting out of their head. They're so angry. It's like they're coming out, they're doing this, and I was just like, bro, just take a chill pill. I get it. It's not like, certain aspects of what you're saying are right. Most normal people agree. Like, we shouldn't have a like. Well, I did hear that they've put a temporary ban on people going into hotels now. Something this morning.
Yes,
They
yes.
have put in a.
Put them. Where are they going to put them?
I,
Where,
I,
if they can't put them in hotels, where can they put them? So they're going to be walking the streets, and then before you know it, people are
I
going to.
don't see like, the Rwanda thing was spoke about. I don't think that's a bad idea. Like, if we've got a safe place, that we've built up for people where we're trying to build like a new Western sort of culture in certain countries and stuff like that, I don't see the big deal in that. But unfortunately, there's big money in this. Like, people, there's human rights lawyers that that come out of taxpayers' monies as well. They love all this because they can no, you're not sending him back. We'll represent him. We'll sue, and then we'll get a load of money. And
Don't forget loony lefters.
yeah,
They have human rights, you know. They have human rights.
yeah,
These people are
yeah,
touching our children and hurting us and doing this and doing that. They have rights. No, they don't. If you come to this country and you get off a boat and you're here illegally and you do anything wrong, you should be sent back immediately.
yeah.
You shouldn't.
Without question.
First strike, gone. No ifs, no buts, no maybes. That is the law. But then you've got the loony lefts or oh no, they're upset and they've
I don't
been.
know where these people actually get bread from. Like, I don't like. I don't. It must just be. They must have been cuddled their whole life or something, and they just don't like. Never had a hard day in their life or something. To see some of these people with some of their points, like, and the funniest ones are the LGBT ones, like, and people are like, what they would do to you if you was in their country,
I
like,
know,
this is
like free Palestine and all that, yeah, and if we take you there, they're going to throw you off a building. That's how they actually
yeah, just
reward or
yeah,
thanks.
yeah. So some of that is quite interesting. But Kitty, let's leave it there. Good chat. We've got some good points in there, and everybody, don't be shy. Send us some messages on the videos, guys. We like hearing all opinions, all takes. It's not just a one-sided view. Kitty, anything you want to say before we go?
No, just be tolerant. And these are your private parts. Nobody can touch them. Get your children singing that
The
song.
These are your private parts. Radio. Peace and love, TikTok. Peace and love, TikTok. Have a good night. Good day, rather. Right, let's shut down YouTube and all the other social media platforms. Everybody have a lovely day. Have a lovely day. Peace and love to you guys.